Greetings, the Astro 30 here, and I've got another kit to build today. This is a 15 watt per channel stereo digital amplifier using a TPA3122, and well, it looks like they're using a through-hole dual-in-line package for that. But the neat thing about this kit is, look at the cute little component case that comes with it. I thought it was like just for show in the photograph on the eBay article, but no, it actually does come with a cute component case, which I can, after I've assembled this circuit board, use this to store other things. So we're all about recycling here, and there's no schematic or anything with this kit as usual. Here's the circuit board, or PCB. You've got double-sided here, plated through hole. We've got the outputs there, and looks like inputs on this side. Now this runs on, I believe it's between 5 volt and 30 volt is the maximum you can put through it. Oh yeah, 10 to 30 volts, sorry, it's written there. Yeah, so it looks like I've got a couple of surface mount electrolytics to mount there, or is there through holes? No, there's through holes through that as well. You can mount surface mount ones there if you want, but this doesn't come with any, and this is made by Sure Electronics, and it's a fairly thick PCB too. So let's just have a little look at the components here. They've given us a cable, which I believe is the, yep, that's the audio input cable. All these resistors are going everywhere. Big diode there, but this is the input cable. It's 3.5mm to RCA, although they've got white and yellow instead of white and red. Okay. Make sure there's no other resistors in there, because one just went flying. Now they're using carbon film resistors. Do I really want to use carbon film resistors? And they look like they're all the same value of 10k. Oh, that's an inductor. Yeah, that's a rather large inductor too. There's two of them. So that goes, yeah, there and there. Okay, and these are 10 microhenry inductors, which is about right. Got a DC adapter socket. Not that I actually have a plug pack for that, but I'm going to have to get power up to it somehow. Anyhow, so there's no SMD soldering to do, so all I've got to do is solder in a bunch of resistors and capacitors, and a large diode, which is, I'm not exactly sure at this point. It's a 1N5822, so it's a fairly large current diode. I believe that's in, yeah, there, it's in the DC path, so it's a wrong way protection diode. So okay, you've also got the option of having just a normal terminal header here to connect power with. Not that they provide any. I'm not sure how we're getting output either at the moment. And there's a dip switch here, that's for selecting the gain, etc. But as there's no documentation for this, it's really hard to work out what that dip switch is supposed to be set to, although there is a truth table here, so that does help the issue a bit. So if we turn one of them on, like K1 and K2, if both are on, we have a weak amount of gain. Turn K1 off and K2 on, we have low gain. K1 on, K2 off, medium, and for highest gain we have both of them off. So yeah, okay, that helps to have that truth table there. That's wonderful. So anyway, let's get to assembling this circuit board, and yeah, I'm going to start with the resistors, and yeah, we'll move on from there. Okay, that's all the soldering complete. I decided not to use the DC jack because I'll just use a connector. The same with the outputs, I'll just use a 2-terminal screw connector. I put the RCA jacks on the front because even if this is mounted into a case, I can still use RCA plugs to make the connection. And I've seen a lot of professional amplifiers do that exact same thing. So now to put the TPA3122D2 IC in, noting its orientation, which is that way around. Now, I still need to buy myself an IC inserter tool, because I hate dealing with pins that are not straight. Now, just check that that's all the pins around are not bent, which they are not. Okay, so now I need to hook up some fly leads for the output connectors and the DC input, and then we can actually hook this up to a dummy load and power supply and see what it does. Alright, so I'm going to do the power on self smoke test. I've got it hooked up in dual rail mode so I can get a little bit more voltage out of it. The maximum is 30, but I'm also trying to get the maximum amount of current out of the power supply I can. So I'm going to turn the load on. I'm going to slowly wind the voltage up to 10 volt and look for any smoke. So we're at 3 volt now, which is below what it operates at. We're now at 11 volt, 12 volt, and I can see that the LED on the board is just starting to glow. So I'm going to leave it at 11.9 volt, and first I'm going to verify what voltage I've got going in. Got 11.8, so we're not exceeding anything. And let me just prop this up somewhere where you can see it. Now I'm going to measure each output to look at the DC offset, make sure there's no DC on the output. We have 5.7 volt on that one, 5.7 volt on that one. There shouldn't be any DC there, but yeah, I'm not liking that one little bit. So I'm going to wind the voltage now up to, say, 20 volt and look at the output on the... Yeah, so we got 9 volt coming out of that. Now this is unloaded, so that chip is getting relatively warm. So and that's idle, that's not doing anything. So I'm a little concerned that that is getting warm when it's doing nothing and it's producing a 9-10 volt output. Yeah, that's not good. So I'll drop, I have the gain set to low, so I'll have it set to weak and see if that makes a difference to the output. No. And that chip is getting kind of hot, so this is a real concern here because it shouldn't be doing that. Okay, well, they're hooked across a dummy load. We are getting, yeah, 1.62 volt roughly peak to peak with no signal. I'm not sure I really want to hook a speaker up to this, to be honest. That's fairly hot. Okay, so I'm touching the end of this audio plug and there is no output on the scope whatsoever. It's not working as an amplifier in any way, shape or form. So there is something wrong. And, well, I'm not sure what it is. It could be that I've got a defective TPA device. Yeah, well, considering it's outputting DC and no audio, yeah, it's pretty much useless. So, I don't know, that was a fail. Okay, this is kind of concerning because the data sheet for the TPA3122D2 is a quiescent current in mute mode of no more than 37 mA and in shutdown mode no more than 3 mA, and currently with no load connected, not in standby, not in mute, we're drawing 160 mA. So there's our first clue. So I'm pretty sure that we have a dead IC, and that's red hot at 30 volt. So there is something wrong with that IC. It's like it's shorted or something. I don't know. So I'll just put this into resistance mode and I'll measure across the output terminal. Well, we have a very high impedance by the looks of things across the output. So the output's not shorted or anything. So other than that, I really don't know. I really don't know. So I don't know really what to tell you guys, but it doesn't work. I reckon there's something wrong with that IC. I don't have a replacement IC, and the likelihood of me being able to get one quickly in the next hour is going to be next to impossible. So this was a waste of time. I mean, seriously, practically speaking, that IC should have a heatsink on it anyway, but because there's, you know, half the supply voltage on the output no matter what input you're putting into it, so at 30 volts you'd have 15 volt DC on the output on both channels, indicates to me that, well, it's not working properly. It should be class D. There should be zero output on, or zero DC output on the output, because it's not operating in class A. And according to the datasheet, if we look at the simplified schematic, they have actually got a 470 microfarad capacitor going to the speaker. Now, I'm just going to quickly check something on the main circuit board here. Okay, well, I've just quickly traced out the output. Pin 19 is over here, which is the left output. It's the second pin in, and that goes through this inductor. On the other side of the inductor, it goes into this 10k resistor here. The other side of that goes to ground. That then comes through here, through this capacitor, which is I think it's a 22 microfarad, 35 volt. And the negative of that capacitor then goes to the positive left output. So they are actually feeding it through a capacitor as per the data sheet, but there just happens to be DC on the output. Now, DC shouldn't be able to get through the capacitor, so why is there DC on the output? Now, when I had the scope hooked up, I could see a waveform on it, very minute waveform, but it looks to me like the amplifier is actually oscillating. So there might be an internal fault with the chip, but I'll just hook it back up to the scope. I might do it unloaded this time with no dummy load, and we'll have a look at its output. So unloaded, we're getting nothing, but a little bit of jump there of switching noise. Okay, I've got it hooked back up across the dummy load now, and yeah, that's red hot. The scope isn't doing anything interesting, so there is a slight. Well, let's change that. What are we getting here? Yeah, it's definitely oscillating. You can see that it's oscillating, and we have a peak-to-peak voltage there of 1.94 volt. Connect the speaker up to that, and it's all over for the speaker. We've got about 170 mA current draw. I'm going to turn that off before I kill something. Not that it matters, because that chip's not working at all anyway, and that's red hot. So the thing's oscillating, not working as an amplifier. I reckon that the chip itself is damaged, so I am not very happy about that. I've checked all the solder joints, everything's cool, everything's soldered in the right place. You can't go wrong because all the capacitor values of the different types are the same value, so you can't put a capacitor in wrong anywhere. The electrolytics are the correct way around. The MKTs are where they're supposed to be. As I said, they all have the same value, so you can't mess it up. And the orientation of that chip socket is correct, so you can't mess that up either. So I really don't know. I tend to think that there's something wrong with that chip, or the board layout itself. But anyway, that's kind of disappointing. I was hoping to have a 15 watt per channel digital amplifier working today. But no, the electronic god said, fuck you. So, well, not much I can do about it. I doubt I can get that chip from JCar. Nope, not able to get it from JCar. So, yeah, that's kind of disappointing. So what I might do is I might turn that back on. Now it's not even oscillating on the output. That's strange. I haven't done anything different. Well, this is perplexing. Look at this. We're now down to the quiescent current draw that it should be at 30 volts, which is 20 MA. Well, I think they said 37 MA, but that's close enough. I haven't done anything different. The chip is now not hot. The scope output is showing absolutely nothing. So, a bit of switching noise here and there. So there is no oscillation on the output now. So I might just check that unloaded channel's DC offset output voltage now and see what it is. Just move that out of the way. If I could get on there. Unloaded we have 1.5 volt, which is, okay. And the loaded channel, we've got hardly any DC offset. So, okay, that's both perplexing and strange at the same time. I still don't have any output, unless the chip's fried. It's possible that the chip is fried. Again. Yeah, I'm not getting any output. So we've got 1.3 volt roughly on that channel. And like, I don't know, 200 millivolt on that channel. I'd say that this IC's just shit itself. It's worse than that, it's dead, Jim. So I don't think I'm going to be going any further with this. I'm the Astro 30, and if you enjoyed this video, please remember to rate, comment and subscribe below, and you can always follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The links are in the description as usual. Also, you can support me on PayPal by donating as little or as much as you want, because your donation allows me to buy stuff to play around with on the channel. And speaking of channels, check out this guy, 12 Volt Vids. He has some great content to do with electronics on his channel. Anyways, this is the Astro 30 saying see ya, have a great day.